Welcome to the Rock Your World Naturally podcast, the place where women from around the world come to discover God's plan for health in body, soul, and spirit. I'm your host, Rakesia McMillan, award-winning author, Air Force veteran, and health evangelist. I'm passionate about sharing biblical truth, scientific research, and practical lifestyle approaches to help heal your world naturally. You're listening to podcast episode 9. This show features Holistic Practitioner Mark Hernandez, the owner and founder of People and Pets Energetics. I'm your host, Rakesia McMillan, certified integrative nutrition health coach and health evangelist. My assignment to the body of Christ is to help women and communities heal their world naturally in spirit, soul, and body. If you'd like to find out more about how to heal your world naturally, you can find me on the web at rockyourworldnaturally.com, on Facebook, facebook.com/rockyourworldnaturally, and on Twitter, twitter.com, rockyourworld28. Thank you so much for listening in on the show today. If you are new, welcome. And to all of our returning listeners, welcome back. I am super excited about today's show, and I'm excited about it for a number of reasons. The first being that there are so many different modalities, so many ways that God has given us the ability to create or to heal our bodies through different creative abilities. And our guest today, Mr. Mark Hernandez, is going to talk along those lines regarding energy medicine. And there may be some of you that may not be familiar with energy medicine, but he's going to provide some insight. He's going to provide some tools and resources on how you can help to heal your body through this wonderful modality of healing. So I just want to share a little bit about Mark and who he is and what he does. Mr. Mark Hernandez is the owner and founder of People and Pets Energetics. He is a holistic practitioner that helps people and animals that have hit the wall with health and well-being issues. He uses non-invasive energy medicine modalities and tools to help his clients experience change in a gentle and safe fashion. At times, they experience change immediately, and in other instances, over time. Mark is certified in the Emotion Code, the Body Code, and Advanced Ash Work. He has talked about and demonstrated his work at the San Antonio Microsoft office and at events such as the Body, Mind, Spirit Expo, the San Antonio Holistic Festival, and numerous holistic fairs in Greater Chicago and the Midwest. He also has been the guest on online radio shows, podcasts, and local Chicago TV, in which he discusses his work as a holistic practitioner and does many healings with live callers. In May of 2019, he launched the People and Pets Show, a weekly online radio show where he interviews leading figures in energy medicine, energy healings for people, animals, and spaces. Day by day, people are choosing to assume a greater role in their own health and well-being. Mark's work helps people experience more health, happiness, joy, and freedom in their everyday lives. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome our special guest on today, Mr. Mark Hernandez. Welcome to the show, Mark.
Thank you, Rakesia, for that kind introduction. It's great to be with you and your community. Thanks for having me.
Oh, again, so very glad to have you and host you on today. And I just want to open up with an icebreaker question. I like to kind of ask this for those who are on the show. Can you share a little bit about what you're doing right now that is rocking your world naturally?
Yeah. So, what I'm doing right now, I guess in a engaging kind of doing a little work back to the physical. Recommitting to my daily energy routine. I think they're all things that we all do to keep our energy fields balanced and clear. And I've kind of like recommitted. So kind of like revisiting my practices to kind of upgrade them to where we're at in 2019.
That's awesome. And I know that some of my listeners, they may not be familiar with energy medicine. So, can you share a little bit about what energy medicine is and how it can help to heal the body?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So, energy medicine is kind of like an umbrella term that refers to a series of systems, protocols, and practices that's working with the subtle energy field of people, animals, spaces, situations. The quantum physicists taught us a long time ago, and the ancients knew this, that basically we're really pure energy. Okay, on one level, we have our physical 3D body, which on one level looks very tangible. Don't go running in front of a car to test that out. You are physical in that sense. On another level, you also have an energy body, which is like the blueprint for your physical body. So energy medicine, all these different practices, which I'll touch on in a minute, looks at the subtle energy field, that divine blueprint, and see what types of energies are out of balance and harmony. So energy medicine will work with that subtle energy field to identify and release non-beneficial energies that are causing people stuff. The idea is that often imbalances start out in the energetic blueprint and over time can eventually show up in the physical body as dis-ease or pain. Often people experience this physical pain. So some of the most common things people may be familiar with that are a form of energy medicine. So on one category, you have like the body work, okay, like massage,
Mm-hmm.
acupuncture, chiropractic. So they're working with the kind of the subtle energy systems through the physical body. Okay, that's their main point of access. Okay, another form of energy healing, as I like to say, are just working with the fields. I like to tell people energy medicine is many things, and one form of energy medicine is prayer. Okay, so prayer is many things, but often people may have a loved one that's sick. Maybe you're in one part of the country, they're in the other on the other coast, and you send prayers, loving thoughts for healing, and people receive that. That's also a form of energy medicine. And the type of work that maybe some people are familiar with in your community are the more like just where people are working with the invisible fields, such as Reiki, um, EFT, emotional freedom technique, popularly known as tapping. Again, where they are working with the physical a little bit, but and also what I do, like the emotion code, body code, I'm seeing the invisible fields, identifying, releasing the non-beneficial energies to help people again experience more peace, happiness, joy, and often the thing that gets them in the door is that they're in some level of significant pain.
Wow, I love the fact how you shared, just the different, I guess, categories of energy medicine. I know that I have certainly benefited from acupuncture, massage. Those are things that I use in my own personal life,
Mm-hmm.
as well as refer many of my clients to those things, because I truly believe that it's not just going to be one modality that helps to bring about optimal wellness, but I think it
Mm-hmm.
takes a synergistic effect, whether it's combining the methods through energy medicine combined with whole food eating,
Mm-hmm.
combined with exercise, getting the rest that's really going to help us to achieve that optimal health. Um, I also like the fact that you shared that prayer could also be seen as a mode of energetic healing,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't think that I've ever considered, but it truly is, because we hear about so many occurrences of the supernatural taking place, things that could not happen natural power or strength, but
Yes.
it's truly a supernatural empowerment from God that allows, a person that's 2,000 miles away to receive some type of healing, some type of intervention that's channeled through prayer.
Absolutely. And I'd like to add one more thing about energy medicine. All these, these different categories I mentioned, I think an important thing about energy medicine is the work is always customized to the client at that time and place. The practitioner, whatever modality or technique or system he or she is practicing, it's always customized for the client. So there's not like a one one solution fits all for the client, and that's why you say, everything works till it doesn't work, and it's always
Yeah,
going to be, because the energy system is very dynamic. Different people will need different things at different points in time.
that's so true. And, it's not a cookie cutter, as you said, but it is a um, type of treatment that can be customized to the client. One of the things I want to ask is, Mark, with the energy systems like within our bodies, what are some of the things that could cause the imbalances within the energy systems within the body? What can actually bring on that joint pain? What can bring
Hmm.
on those aches, those blockages, so to speak, within a
Yeah,
person's life?
yeah. I think two most common things: unprocessed negative emotions, okay, such as
Mm,
anger, grief, resentment, love unreceived. These emotions may
mm,
become trapped 2 days ago, 2 years ago, 20 years ago. You can also come into this world with inherited trapped emotions. So that's
mm-hmm.
that's the top category. But close behind is toxicity, cell phone radiation, Wi-Fi. If people ever took medications over the counter, prescription drugs, um, you know, uh, all these things in our food, all the additives, GMO foods, those are sources of imbalances. And then sometimes if people are really, really stuck, again, we're always tell people start with the low hanging fruit, what helps most people, okay? And then if they're really, really stuck and what they've done has helped 95% of the people, but they're about the same, there's often stuff at the spiritual level, okay? I'm
Mm.
seeing a lot more of like spiritual interference with people, such as,
Yeah,
curses, entities. People can send them like saboteur energies, stuff like that.
yeah.
I'm seeing you clear that, and things will often improve in short order.
Wow. And I just love the fact that we are talking about this, because I think that emotional traumas, whether that's through unforgiveness, through harboring resentment, so many individuals don't realize how that impacts your overall health. I did a
Mm-hmm.
podcast on unforgiveness
Mm-hmm.
and the health connection. And it was shown through medical studies, medical research, that one of the number one reasons why people were in cancer treatment,
Mm-hmm.
when they did, the investigative work, it had to do with underlying causes that were associated with unforgiveness. And
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. I want to
yes.
jump in because from time to time, when I'm at these holistic fairs, I will have people that come to my table say, "Do you work with people going through cancer stuff?" There's obviously everyone chooses what's right for him or her, multi-pronged
Mm-hmm.
approach. But I always tell them, because sometimes I'll say, I was eating organic food, exercising, and it's often women that will come see me. They'll say, why did I develop breast cancer? I said, there's
Mm-hmm.
always an emotional component, as you said,
Yeah.
of unforgiveness, and the other thing I see is anger that come
Yes.
through, and other things, but those are very common in cancer situations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so many hospitals, even within the conventional as well as on some of the holistic level, are realizing that even before the actual treatments, whatever path that may be, that the underlying emotional issues must be addressed first.
Hmm. Absolutely. The way I see that is I call it like clearing out the energetic underbrush. Okay, let's clear out that
Mm-hmm.
stuff, toxicity, spiritual stuff, whatever it is. And then whatever path people choose, whether it's, through nutrition, chemo, whatever they choose, will have a stronger chance of being that more effective.
Absolutely. And I just don't think that it's talked about or addressed enough, because sometimes it's not so much, as you said, it's not about changing the diet, it's not about the exercising, but it is getting to the core,
Mhm.
the heart issues, so that you can be well in every area of your life, in spirit, in soul, and body.
Absolutely.
And I think that that soul component is so much of what we're talking about today. It's just that that baggage that's not addressed. But through energy medicine, there is a way to help you to overcome. And even if you're a listener out there and you're listening to this and you're realizing that maybe the health challenges that I'm facing could be related to unforgiveness, or it could be related to harboring some type of anger that you just have not been able to um, work through. We certainly have, Mark available, who is able to help you through the process.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, and so Mark, with you being an energy medicine healer, what was it that really motivated you to get into this mode of healing, or this mode of practice?
Yeah, so kind of the entry point for me was my own professional life. Uh, for many years, I taught at colleges and universities here in the US, Hispanic studies, and I had some unusual things going on in my professional life as a professor. So I called my brother. He's a doctor of integrative medicine here in Texas, does medical stuff, but much more. And he suggested I work with an energy healer. This was back in 2007. So
Hmm.
I was living in Boston at the time. The energy healer was out in New Mexico. So I worked with her over the phone, 2 1-hour sessions over about 2 months. And when nothing had changed in my professional life after the session, some things started to change. The frozen needle started to move. So that got my attention. So that started out, led me to call him back, say, hey, I want to learn that energy thing because we all have abilities in this lifetime to do this type of work. And so that got me into, training, certifications, and doing what I'm doing. And what I love about doing what I'm doing for both people and animals is that I see some amazing transformations. Again, I just want to make it clear this work comes from above, God, source creators.
Yes.
So when I'm doing the work, I'm connecting with God, source creator, my light team, the Legion of Archangels, to hold the space and be shown what's ready to be released then. So I've seen some pretty amazing changes, and people are better. Usually
Wow.
people that are, come to me are usually open to this, and I always tell people I can work with anyone just as long as you leave the crack of possibility open. If you're going to close it with cement, I won't be able to help you. But I've seen some amazing transformations. Like I said, sometimes
Yeah.
instantly, in other cases over time.
Wow, that's awesome. And that's just sharing, how faith has really played a role, in your work, connecting with God, also with archangels. And many times, many people do not realize that angels actually have a ministry here on the earth. They are
Absolutely.
sent
Mm-hmm.
to serve us. It's all throughout the Bible, all throughout the scriptures. There were messenger angels, there were angels who brought deliverance. The Bible also talks about, you know, that angels are standing at attention and they are waiting to hear the voice of God's word to be released, to be able to bring healing here on earth. And so, really tapping into the spirit realm to be able to bring that healing here on earth is certainly, a part of what you're doing. And I just think it's awesome.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm very grateful and honored to be doing this work. It became very clear that for this stage of my life, this is my mission, and I'm honored and happy to be doing it because I see some amazing changes.
Wow. And I also love the fact, Mark, and I'm just going to have to say, when you sent that picture to me of you holding your furry family member, that is your pet, Mark?
Actually, it's not. It's the pet of a friend. I was
Oh,
updating it, but that is a Floopy, Floopy the Chihuahua from
absolutely.
Chicago, a friend, and yeah, Floopy's very very sweet dog.
Yeah, my heart melted when I saw that picture. So, audience, when you see the picture of Mark and the furry family member, you're going to feel the same way. I know it.
Yeah.
So, and I love the fact too that you not only work with people, but you also work with people's pets too. And pets are such a large part of our lives. And I know for me, because I am a veteran,
Mm-hmm.
I work with so many veterans that have emotional support animals
Mm-hmm.
that provide so much comfort. I've seen, our the furry family members do some amazing, amazing things with helping veterans, knowing if they're about to have a seizure, if they're about to,
Mm-hmm.
just they're there. And so the fact that you do the energy work with pets too, I mean, how did you get into that?
Yeah, there's a specific story behind that. 2011, 2013, I was living and working in Asia, in Taipei, Taiwan. I was teaching Spanish at an international high school. And also at the same time, my own time, I was doing the training, the certification program for the emotion code. This was 2012. And part of the certification, so you do different parts of the certification. The last piece is the practicum. The emotion code certifications ask that all aspiring practitioners work with at least 5 animals and 25 people. Okay. So
Mm.
at the time, I was not fluent and still not in Mandarin Chinese. So I had some challenges finding local Taiwanese that will work with this crazy Westerner and want to do some energy healing on their pets. Okay, so fast forwarded, I was stuck for 2 months, looking to complete my certification and stuck. So one fateful day on a Saturday afternoon, local Taiwanese called me and said, "Do you want to go ice skating?" I said, "Ice skating in Taiwan? Okay, been kind of crazy experience anyway." So I'm horrible at it. Haven't been in 30 years, but I'm gonna go. So on the spur of the moment, I went, met him at the ice skating rink, and at the ice skating rink, inside was this. We see all these cats in a glass window. So what's this? And it had in Mandarin Chinese, but also in English. The Catzel, the Cat Hotel. I said, "What's this?" So rang the bell. They let us in. I just talked to the woman I talked to, happened to be the owner. I told her what I was doing my certification. My request was, could she refer me to an English speaking, you know, expat animal shelter where I could work with the pets for my certification, help me, and they would help the pets. Well, turns out she was very open to what I was doing. She goes, "Oh, I'm very interested in what you're doing. I have friends that are very interested in what you're doing. I'll book all your sessions. You can do them all here at the Cat Hotel, and I'll be your translator." I said, "What?" So I went from
Wow.
stuck for 2 months to doing like 25 sessions in 3 weeks at the Cat Hotel. And she was my translator. And so as I was working with the pets, I said, "Oh, when I get back to the US and establish my practice, pets are going to be an integral part because pets, they're very sweet. One, they also tend to change faster than humans because they're not invested in their stories. And
Mm-hmm.
I just really enjoyed working with the animals. I've always loved animals all my life, but when I said, "Oh no, they're going to come back," because I had a lot of people saying, "No, Mark, you have to really focus on the people or the pets." I said, "No, I want to do both and more." So that's how I set up
Wow.
my business.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that because again, our pets are such a big part of our lives. And, I just think it's wonderful that you incorporate not only the people, but, the animals, the pets within your practice as well.
Yeah, and for many people, really for many people, their pets are like their children today. You know,
Yes, very much
and
so.
I'll often go to a fair, and sometimes the person could use some help with some issues. The pet, about 80% of the time, if they kind of feel like they might have to choose at the moment, they'll say, "Do my pet, work with my pet first," because they love them that
Wow.
much.
Wow. That's amazing. I know that you mentioned a little bit about the emotion code, and I want to talk a little bit about the body code.
Sure. Yeah.
And can you share a little bit about that, Mark?
Yeah. So the emotion code is a energy medicine tool to help people identify and release emotional baggage that is locking in place their health or well-being issue. This tool was created by Dr. Bradley Nelson. Dr. Nelson is a holistic chiropractor, medical intuitive, and is over 20 years in a brick and mortar practice in California. He discovered as a chiro, he would often adjust his patients, do the chiropractic adjustments to the spine, and sometimes people's stuff kept coming back over and over again. He had to do the same adjustment. So he asked himself, what's up with this? So he said a prayer to God Source Creator, and in 2007 he got a divine download that said basically identify and release people's emotional baggage recently, 2 years ago, 25 years ago, inherited, and the chiropractic adjustments would hold better. Okay, would hold. So in 2007, he got a divine download, and it became a book and a system called the Emotion Code. Okay, so it's a book that Dr. Nelson wants everyone to have in their toolbox if they choose, so that they can help their friends, family, and if they choose to be, a practitioner, they can get certified. Okay, so the emotion code, there are over 60 emotions on these two charts where you identify and release those emotions. Dr. Nelson, the emotion code, also put forth the term heart wall. Okay, a heart wall is when people go through tough stuff in life, or animals too, and their heart gets broken. The subconscious mind then builds a wall of negative trapped emotions to protect it from being hurt again. As a result, people may feel, quote unquote, protected, but as a result, they're kind of walking through life disconnected. And as I say, kind of walking behind a pane of glass. They're there, but not completely.
Yeah.
So that was the emotion code. Identify and release emotional baggage, lock in place health and well-being issues. Dr. Nelson said emotions, negative trapped emotions, can account for, or at least be a piece in 85% of the cases. Okay. So that was a big advance forward. He did use the emotion code with his patients. And then he said, there's something more. 2009, he gets a second divine download and says, okay, so this became, second divine download became the body code. So the body code includes everything as the emotion code, as like the centerpiece, but it also tracks 6 other categories of imbalances, such as pathogens, mold, fungus, bacteria, that's category 1, misalignments, organs, glands, chakras, acupuncture system, and much more. Category 3, nutrition and lifestyle. In this category, I see a lot of like dehydration, people just not drinking enough water. That's very important for everyone. Or sometimes a spiritual malnutrition. Maybe they read scripture, maybe they like walking in the park, they've gotten away. That can imbalance them. Category 4 are all the energies of the emotion code, but also those offensive energies, those spiritual attacks, curses, entities, ghosts, etc.
Yeah.
And the last category is toxicity, what I mentioned, cell phone radiation, Wi-Fi, GMO foods. So in the body code, the practitioner, client comes in with an issue. Practitioner gets a little information, tunes into the energy field of the person through God Source Creator, and identifies and release those non-beneficial energies. And you keep going till the body will say completely done with the issue or done for today. And then, so let's say it was a right shoulder pain for someone, you'll have them do a gentle test at the end. How's your shoulder now? And they go, oh, I was at level 10 pain of 10. Now I'm a 5 or 2 or 1. It's all going to change at a different rate and usually pretty quickly.
Wow. That's just, again, so much awesome information to help us to all be more aware of how we need to take care of our bodies, even at the energetic level. I think it was last month, there was a G5 crisis regarding the new cell phone towers that are coming online. I think some of them have already started. Can you talk a little bit about that, or what are your thoughts on how the G5 will affect the energy levels within our bodies?
All right. So, in a nutshell, I think it's going to have devastating. I mean, I don't want to but significant effects. Let's put it this way. I
Yeah.
think you know, the current 4G and all the EMFs through the Wi-Fi that's around us.
Yeah.
There are a lot of stories of especially guys that put their cell phone in their pocket, front pocket.
Yes.
There have been issues with sperm counts, fertility. It's
Mhm.
going down. That's just one issue. It also affects people's, the flow of your energetic system. So sometimes people start getting weird like sensations in their fingers just from holding the phone. So going back
Yeah.
to the 5G, I think Europe is especially like Belgium and Germany, they're being more attentive to the effects of 5G, where there's stories of where they put up the new 5G towers and like the bees just fall out of the air or the birds just kind of like instantly.
Yes.
So there's definitely reasons to be concerned. I have my own show, the People and Pet Show, in June. I had a guest. Her name is Virginia Rounds Griffith from the UK, and she did specific protocols that everyone can do to mitigate the effects of 5G. So that's things. I think it's it's an evolving story, but in a nutshell, it is reason for concern. There is a guy named Lloyd Burrell, I think, also from the UK, that had a summit on EMS 5G with a lot of guests, and probably a lot of it's on YouTube that your audience can look into. But it's something to be aware of and mitigate the effects. Things people can do even in their house, like at night with the wireless router, turn it off if you can. Okay, your cell phone. A lot of people sleep with their cell phones, right by their bed. And I know some people need to, but if you can put it like 5 to 8 feet away at least, or ideally turn it off. I know some people can't because they're on call for something, but to mitigate the effects.
No, that's all good information. And so you had mentioned your websites, and I want to be able to get to that. But if there are people listening in our audience that want to work with you, Mark, what are some of the programs that you have to offer?
Yeah. So I think a good first step is, I'll get to in a minute, on my website, I offer people that are new to energy medicine a complimentary 30-minute discovery session. They do a brief intake form of what's on their energetic plate. And then when we meet either by phone or video technology, we spend about 5 minutes kind of reviewing what's on their energetic plates. I do a mini healing of about 10 minutes, which I get quite a bit done. And then, they see where they're at and then next steps. So that can either be, next steps can be, just a individual session. 95% of my sessions are 30 minutes. And when they tell me what's going on, I can tap into the energy. Again, that's 95. The other 5% are ready for an hour session, but those are becoming less common right now. If they're, like that and ready for a bigger program, I have like a 5-session kind of like major energy tune-up through the body code. And then if they're really, ready, this is usually people that work with me, I have a 90-day accelerated health makeover program that we could look into if that's something that's of interest.
Outstanding. So for those of you that want to, again, take your health to the next level, to get your energy levels balanced, I highly recommend that you seek out Mark. Mark, where can people find you? What are your social media, your links? How can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, so several ways. One way is my website. My website, if you enter in your favorite search engine, People and Pets, plural, Energetics, Energetics. And the website is www.peopleandpetsenergetics.com. There you'll find a whole link. Also, you can find me on Facebook at People and Pets Energetics, and also on LinkedIn through my name, Mark A. Hernandez.
Outstanding. Well, it has truly been a pleasure to be able to have this interview with you, Mark. I've been enlightened with some things, as I know that my audience has. And again, take your health to the next level by getting your energy levels balanced by seeking out those services from Mark. So, Mark, thank you so much again for being on the show today. And I am certain that we will connect again in the near future.
Thank you again, Rakisha. It was great to be with you and your audience.
Okay. God bless you, Mark.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. For health tips, faith-based education, and inspiration, visit www.rockyourworldnaturally.com and on Facebook at Facebook.com/rockyourworldnaturally and Twitter at twitter.com/rockyourworld28.